Hey, welcome. My name is Jay Bean. I am the founder and CEO of Fresh Lime. We're a marketing company that helps locally focused businesses kind of reach local consumers. And so today we wanted to have a conversation. I actually have a few friends here. We're talking to some millennials. We know that the marketplace is changing. The way that businesses engage consumers is changing. If we go back and look at the last 15 or 16 years, there's been a dramatic shift from traditional yellow pages and print advertising to online paid search, now social, video, Snapchat, Instagram, so on and so forth. I mean, there's so many ways to reach consumers today, and reaching a 22-year-old or 25-year-old or 27-year-old versus someone that is my age and in their mid-30s, just kidding, to like even our parents and even grandparents, reaching each of these sectors is totally different today, and how we engage consumers is totally different. And so we're going to have this conversation today and really kind of talk about what millennials engage with. I mean, are they thinking about and using the same tools that maybe we did 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago? And we probably all have an idea, but we need to think about these different sectors from introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump in and ask some pretty cool questions.
Hey, so I'm Jeff. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm a millennial, regrettably, but I am, so.
I'm Sarah Tippett. I'm from California. I'm 25 years old, and I'm proud to be a millennial.
I'm Kristen Tebbs. I'm 24 years old, and I'm also very proud to be a millennial.
And so I'm going to ask. So actually, before we start into the questions, and I have only 58 questions, and we have 15 minutes, and so I mean this is going to be like a rapid fire. No, I'm just kidding. So before we start, if you're watching this and if you have some questions for our friends here, please just type them in. And again, we'll probably reiterate that a couple of times during the session. But I want to get started with a couple of questions. And you all don't have to answer each of these, but maybe we'll start with Kristen. Have you ever used a phone book?
To prank call people when I was probably like 10 years old. That's about it. So the answer is no. I've never used it the right way.
So you've never used it the right way?
Not once.
So do you think people use it today still?
No.
No?
I think I've seen one in like my grandmother's cabinets, and I think my parents may have one in the cabinets, but it's never come out.
It was really funny. The other day we were actually doing some surveys with different age groups, and one of the age groups, there was a grandma from Missouri. I don't even know how old this lady is, but she said that she used the phone book. She's put duct tape around it, and she uses the little steps so she can exercise. And so they thankful to the big yellow page companies, your books are still being used for something. So next question. I don't know who wants to answer this, but what about a Rolodex? Has anyone used a Rolodex before?
Oh man, I wish. Wait, that's like the fancy watch, right? Like super expensive watch.
It's close. No to Rolex.
Oh, Rolex.
And so a Rolodex. Any clue? So if you went back before my time, and you went into someone's office, they're going to have this little box, and it has a bunch of little teeny cards in it. Today we'd call it a CRM, and it would be on our computer, and we would type in, it would pull up a bunch of information about an individual or a business. Back then, when a customer would come in or whatever, they would flick through that. They would go to for my name, Jay Bean. They would go to the B section. They would find Jay. They would pull the card out, and it would have my phone number, my address, not my email address because there wasn't one, not my cell phone number. May have a fax number if you were in the 80s or early 90s. But anyway, so that's what they used. That's what they used as a CRM long time ago. All right. So next question, how many hours a day do you have phone access? How much, like, if you were thinking about 24 hours in the day and within your arm's reach, how long or how many hours a day would you have that phone accessible to you?
Does that include like when I'm sleeping?
Yeah.
Because probably 24 hours.
I have
a day.
24/7.
24.
24.
All the time.
And I have a backup charger.
Yeah.
Car charger.
Yeah, car
phone
charger,
word
purse.
charger.
I have a charger for my purse that's like wireless.
Mhm.
But I'd say 24/7.
Yeah. I sleep with my phone on my bed next to my pillow because
Me
it's
too.
my alarm clock.
Yeah.
too.
You literally fall asleep to your cell phone.
I
Yeah.
do. I play white noise.
Uh-huh.
I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in Idaho, and in Idaho back in those days, we had a phone on our wall, but we actually shared that number. They used to call them party lines, and different than party lines today, but the party line, we basically shared the same phone number with our neighbor. So when like you pick up the phone, and if no one was on it, then you can make a call. Can you imagine if you had, imagine that, but even imagine, you guys see the old 80s movies and you see the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and the principal's in the office and he has his phone with a rotary dial or whatever in there, and it's hooked to a wall, right? And so, but no, it's interesting. I think that's one of the important things. So if you have your phone 24/7, that's literally, does anyone market to you on your phone?
Constantly.
Yeah. I get Groupon notifications. Pretty much any business that sends me coupons, they send me texts and notifications.
How often have you bought something as a result of getting a notification on your phone? Ever?
I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but probably 80% of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, if it has especially if it has a coupon on the
Yeah, or like
an
a
offer,
fire sale.
then it's pretty much a done deal.
Nike does it all the time to me.
Yeah.
Like when they have my shoe size in, I get a text
Yeah.
notification.
So they're going to come and say, hey, we have these new shoes in. It's new style, limited supply. I noticed that like all new shoe styles coming out now. I'm getting notifications of this shoe's being released at this time on this day. And so, but you guys actually act on those. Lucky for you, you have the money to go buy Nike every day. And so, that's pretty cool. So, what type of offers are you most likely to respond to?
Like I said, I think if it has like a coupon on there or like a special deal, then that's like when it's the most successful for me.
Text messaging. It's instant. You can
Yeah.
respond.
Mine are like urgency, like Amazon, like this is back in the stock or limited time. Like not necessarily like the coupon, but I would probably have to say urgency.
Yeah, and usually if I can do it all from my phone, like if someone says like, hey, we have this offer going on, text buy now or something, then I can just do that, and my phone already has my card info in there and stuff, so it's like, if it gets rid of the steps that I have to go through, then it's like, I just click and buy it.
Cool. Hey, so what if you needed to find a business? So, obviously you guys are acting upon, getting offers and stuff, but what if it's not necessarily an offer? What if you're driving down the road and your car's making noise, and Sarah's going to say, I'm just going to take it to the BMW dealership. but if you needed a mechanic, how would you go about finding a mechanic?
Google.
Google, yeah.
Google.
You go to Google.
I'd go to
Or
Google
either
first.
I'd either go to
What do you guys
Facebook or Google,
recommend?
and I'd ask my friends, does anybody recommend a place
Yeah.
on Facebook? And if I don't get it like instant, then I'll just go to Google and just read reviews.
Yeah.
And they have to have like 50 plus reviews for me to even look.
You want
at
to
them.
make sure that they're credible.
Yeah.
And so what makes them credible in your mind? So if you're looking for a mechanic, do mechanics have very many reviews?
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah.
It depends on the mechanic, but like they were saying, if they're credible, it's like they have a lot of reviews and they have a good star rating. Like
Yeah.
if I see someone with like 2 reviews and a 5-star, then it's like, okay, they have 5 stars but only 2 reviews. That could be like his mom and his daughter or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see one that has like 100 reviews with like a 4.7, 4.8. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's serviced a ton of people and most of them have had a good experience there. So that's what makes it more credible for me, is if there's a lot of reviews and the star rating is still like above like a 4.2 or something, then I think it's a pretty good safe bet.
So what if it was a business and they have 2 reviews and one of them's a 1-star and one of them's a 5-star? What are you going to do with it?
Scroll past.
Yeah, I'm not
Keep
going.
going.
Keep going.
'Cause
You'll
that's
find,
just like-
and there's
that's 50,
thousands of business. There's so many choices. Like
Yeah.
there's thousands. Like that's why you make fun of me if we're at a dealership, but they have 300 reviews.
Yeah.
I'm highly likely to have a good experience.
I think,
with them.
especially too, if you're Googling mechanics in my area, you're probably looking more at the review and the star rating than you're actually looking at the business's name.
Yeah.
You're okay. This person has 100 reviews. You don't even look at the name until you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially with my car. Like
Yeah,
I want to get
that's
ripped off.
super important.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a chance with my car.
So the name of the business is not important. If we went back a long time ago, and we have the yellow pages around here somewhere. If we looked in the yellow pages, back when I was in high school, for example, you turn to the beginning of the phone book and it would be like A auto mechanic.
Yeah, because they wanted to be first.
Yeah, they wanted to be first, and so the person who had the most A's before their name got put at the beginning of the list, right? And so, so today you guys don't even look at the name of the business.
No.
So does that make it hard when you need to use a business again? So like in my house a while back, my garage door broke. I did the same thing that you guys do. Is I went to my phone, I looked for garage door repair, and anyway, this guy came out and did the repair for us. He was fast. He was the right price. But by the time I got back to my work, which I live about 15 minutes from my work, someone asked me, well, what was the name of the business? Because I need one, and I could not remember the name of this guy's business.
Yeah.
All I know is it had horse in the name, or something like that. And so, how do you guys? Are you guys the same way, that it's more important about looking for that review and kind of that instantaneous thing versus kind of just remembering, hey, I used Jim the window cleaner last time, and
I don't
Yeah.
remember the last mechanic I went to.
Last Saturday I got my carpets cleaned, and it was 7 o'clock on a Saturday, so I unlocked my door, went back to bed, and I woke up and my carpets were clean. I have no idea who the guy is. All I know is my carpets were clean, but he didn't even leave a name or anything. He just invoiced me.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. He did a good job, but I have no idea.
I can't tell you who changed my oil last. I
Yeah.
couldn't. They did a good job, but I would never, like right now I couldn't tell you and go back.
Yeah.
cool. So do you ever visit their websites after looking at the reviews?
No.
It's the review, the phone number. Would you call them or text them if you had an option?
Text.
If they had a text option, I would text them.
Text, 100%.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
want to talk to anybody.
Yeah,
So-
that's scary.
So if you could actually do the whole transaction with text, you would prefer that over actually talking to them on
For
the
sure.
phone?
100%.
Absolutely.
If I could or if I could text, they say yes, I can book, boom, pay, done.
Yeah.
We're instantaneous.
It's like Amazon
Assuming.
for services.
And-
That's what they need. Amazon
Cool.
needs to do that. Just kidding.
Hey, so how many days per hour? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, so by the way, if you guys have any questions for our friends here, hopefully you're enjoying the conversation. But if you guys have some questions for them, please let us know. And this session's sponsored by our friends at Red Bull on this side of the table.
And over
here,
on the
Rockstar.
other side. So.
This is the millennial thing right here.
We did actually just have one question come in. They said, and this could go for anybody. So what's a good example of marketing campaigns from a company that you really like, and who is doing a good job connecting with millennials? And this is from Jimmy.
Like when it comes to services or overall?
Overall.
I would say somebody that does a really good job at marketing. Wait, what was the question again? Sorry.
So what kind of campaigns from a company that you really like are you seeing, and who's doing a good job connecting with millennials?
texting, Facebook.
This is gonna be random, but my dentist does a great job. Like, no, seriously, like, I get a text reminder of my appointment. He texts me, like, when I need to be serviced again, if there's whitening, like, discounts. I would say text message is huge. I mean, I just bought a computer and I use my phone more than I use my computer. So anything with the phone, I would say is 100% is gonna get my business and my attention. I see text messages instantly. I do emails, like, not, I mean, if it has nothing to do with me, then I probably won't look at it through the email always. But I would say anything with text, social media, or emailing would probably be the best bet.
Definitely.
I think Facebook is probably pretty big too. Earlier when Jay was talking about the websites, people our age, we don't go to websites, we have apps on our phones, and the website is pretty much that business's Facebook page, in my opinion. For example, when I go to purchase like workout clothes or something like that, I don't do it off their website, I'm doing it off their business's Facebook page. And I'm on Facebook almost 24/7. Throughout my day, I'm getting notifications. So if I'm subscribed to that Facebook page, it's very easy for them to engage with me back and forth.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my next question. So, how many hours a day are you on social media?
Do I have to admit that?
Honestly,
It's kinda sad.
8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's really sad, but it's true.
I couldn't even say I'm on it all the time.
I bet your employer would love that.
I don't know. Maybe.
A couple other questions I was going to ask you guys have really answered, like if you like receiving texts and offers and stuff like that from businesses, and you guys were positive on that.
But I think that also that's kind of, it depends, because I hate when I get texts like almost every day from a business, and it's just like, it's spam, and it's just like a blanket text that they send to everyone.
You can tell what's a generic engagement. Somebody, like, I could tell if my dog groomer's texting me, and I can tell if somebody just wants me to
Just like blast.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
You can tell what's genuine and what's not.
So like the car wash that's up the street over here by our office, I mean the little one by the gas station, like they'll send me $2 off like every other, like probably at least every week, maybe every other week, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I've only been there once, and I used the coupon the first time, and so things like that are annoying, but others where it may be urgent or where maybe more timely, and it's not, it feels like it's more personalized. That's what you guys like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just two more questions, and then we're going to end the session. We have a bunch of other questions we could have asked, but I know we want to keep this this short. And so, how often do you check your email?
I check mine maybe once a day. Like if it depends. I go through phases where I like don't check it for like 2 weeks, and then like once a day I'll check it. But usually I only check like my work email, and then my personal email is where I just have like all of the spam go to and stuff, and so I barely ever get on my personal.
I'm probably 3 to 4 times a week, I'd say. Consistently, like going through it, making sure I'm not missing things, bills, etc.
She has 90,000 unread emails.
90,000?
83,000.
She has 83,000 emails unread. I check my email 24/7 for work, but my personal email, I'd probably say once a week. Once, twice a week.
Yeah.
Kristen, I'll actually show you my email boxes when we're done, and I have you beat by a long ways. I mean, you have probably by 3 or 4x.
There's actually 2 questions that just came in.
Okay, let's just do these questions, and then we'll end the session.
This one's from Aaron. It says, "What's the last product you bought online, and how did you first hear about it?"
Mine's kind of interesting, actually. So mine was actually just my friend's artwork she made into stickers, and she just put it on her Instagram story, and I saw that, and I like just clicked the link, or I responded to her and said, "Hey, I want some of these," and she sent me the link, and then I just bought it from there. So that's kind of just interesting, I guess.
At lunchtime, I bought some shoes, and I found them because my friend tagged me in the photo on Facebook, and they were doing like a $10 off, so I just bought them at lunch.
So Sarah, I'm size 9 and I like Nikes, so.
These were $34 and they're heels and they're really cute.
Okay, $34
You
heels are
look
probably
really
not
good.
my style. The last question.
It is, if you're a millennial with a passion for photography, what outlets would you use to source? What would you source for workshops and photo tours?
So like if you're a photographer, where would you push your stuff out to? How would you get people following you?
Facebook.
Social media, 100%.
Facebook.
Definitely Instagram.
Throw some ads on there. Spend $500 on ads. You can reach thousands and thousands of people.
I would say Facebook first, Instagram probably second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my brother and sister-in-law, they do a videography company, and I actually did a school project on them, and I did a survey and found that most people find their photographers through Instagram, Facebook, very little through Twitter, and then very little through like their personal website. So definitely Facebook and Instagram are the biggest for photographers and videographers.
So last question, and then we'll end this. So if you're a business and you want millennials to come back more often, what should they do? Just like one little tip, and then we'll be done.
I would say strategic engagement, so text messaging, and I would say social media for sure.
I would say reminding, like, I live in a world that's so hectic. The last thing on my mind is getting my oil change unless my car tells me to. So unless you tell me or communicate with me, I'm not gonna use you again. So I would say just communication through the time where you last saw me or I bought something from you, and then just keeping tabs on me.
Yeah, and I would say going along with both of those, because I think those are both really important, is just keeping like their reviews up, because like we said, I don't remember the name of the company. I'm just gonna go to the first company that has like a good amount of reviews and a good star rating.
Hey, thanks to our guests today for spending a little bit of time with us. And we do appreciate their time, and we'll be back next week with another session talking about some other things, not necessarily with these nice millennials, but always come back to kind of the Freshline Facebook page, and we'll be bringing you additional information about marketing and how to reach local consumers in a better fashion. So until next time, I would appreciate it. Thank you.